And I'm not going to stand here and tell you that it went down well with all teachers, having someone come in that you didn't know, sit in the back of the class and write a report on your behaviour practice in the classroom was very threatening to begin with. But I guess what we slowly started to think about was, just pick up on the strategies, just look at what he's saying to you, look at the strategies that he's giving you. It was our written report that you could take away and look at what the behaviours were, and with the tools that he was giving you, how you could actually affect change and change your practice within the classroom. So it was very much offering to you a menu of what to do in the here and now, what to start in your classroom the very next day. Also, the emphasis was on teamwork. Our kids pick up on patterns, particularly patterns of behaviours. They pick up on cues, and it's like having two parents in the room. If you can't get it with one, you'll go to the other. And if the two of you are not on task and not consistent with what you say to the student, they can pick that up and they manipulate. So what you had to do with your SSO was the two of you had to work together very, very strongly, and this consultant would pick up where that wasn't happening and that the kids were actually seeing through that. The big emphasis, and I probably should have put this first, and other schools have said this too, was on positive reinforcement. So any on-task behaviour that you saw, you praised it. Anything, and exactly, good breathing. That's fantastic breathing. Whatever it's going to be, because often, with C's and D's, if you're going to use those categories, it's often very hard to get on task behaviour. So whatever, and I used to get to the stage where, that's a great hat you're wearing. Like anything at all, anything that can start up some kind of a relationship with the student, so that when you do start to get some on task behaviour, like someone's sitting in their seat, then you can start saying, that's great, good sitting or whatever. The other thing was that this was school-wide. So it started with the preps and went right up to the seniors. And unfortunately, with our students, once they hit about 15 or 16, it's extremely difficult to change behaviour. They're very big, many of them, particularly the boys, they're very big. And, very aware of the physical prowess that they have. And that can be intimidating for some teachers too. We mainly have women teachers on our staff. And for the senior students, all that does is it decreases their opportunities. So when they become seniors, we've got a very big senior program which is like community-based. We want them to go out and join the library, to swim, to do yoga, to do whatever, they go to the gym, all of those things. You can't take a kid out to any of that, those sort of programs if as soon as they get off the bus they drop and they're over 100 kilos and you can't get them up to go into the hall or wherever it's going to be. So really you have to start when they're little, and this is what we did. So it was actually school-wide. And it was also written into their IEPs, their individual education program. So any behaviours that you wanted to address, they were documented and worked on towards throughout the year, and assessed and reported on in June and also in December. So parents, of course, knew what was going on, and it was basically in the fabric of the school. So it was from early years to seniors and in the program. So that's what we talked about, that's what we assessed, that's what we wrote about in our reports. Startling results. Oh, hang on, is that right? No. Behaviour management strategies were based on positive reinforcement, consistent body language, and standing still when you're delivering a cue. Like if you wanted a child to stand up and you stand still, you don't jig, you don't turn around and see what someone else, you just stand. And with a lot of our kids, they may run away or may go to the other side of the class or whatever, but sooner or later they realise that nothing's happening, and why isn't that? And they turn around and the cue's still there. Oh, that's right, stand up and go to the door. And that sounds fairly regimented, and where we are now is that as soon as they see that, okay, we've got to stand up and move, they know that that's what sort of has to happen. The cues are consistent, not just in your classroom but right across the school. So if I go out on yard duty and I've got to go down to the primary section, I know that if I do that, those kids will stand up for me, or if I do that, they'll go and sit down, or whatever they have to do, because they're the cues that are being used down in that section as well.